Hello, and welcome to episode 157 of the Book Wars Pod. The number keeps getting higher, and I keep just being like, yeah, kind of.
It's lower. It's lower than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna
okay.
be 158 today.
Oh, that's right.
Because I'm very stupid.
Just glossed over what episode we were doing for this book.
Yeah, I thought we'd already finished the second half of the book, but it turns out I just read the second half of the book.
Wow.
And I was like, oh yeah, we recorded about it. That's how that works.
Great. I'm Kate, and Burb has no idea what time it is. And Chris is rocking back and forth, and Kristen is pretending she has nothing to do with any of us. And we're here to talk about The High Republic Into the Dark by Claudia Gray. We're going to be talking about chapters 13 through the end, and we're probably going to do, honestly, some wrap stuff for reasons that we will discuss later, why we were doing the wrap stuff instead of doing its own wrap episode. But first of fucks, what are we drinking? Keeks, what are you drinking since you just made mouth noises? I couldn't hear them, but I could see them.
They were inaudible mouth noises. That's good. Our fridge is kind of broke right now, so this isn't as cold as it's supposed to be. But this beer won 2021 Gold American Style India Pale Ale at the Great American Beer Festival.
Look at her go.
It's called Volatile Substance Northwest India Pale Ale from Von Ebert Brewing. It's got this angry pig on it. It's a feral hog, actually. It's 6.9 alcohol by volume. Nice. Chris would hate this. It tastes like trees, and it is a Northwest IPA. It tastes like one. It's good. I wish it was colder. I wish my refrigerator wasn't kind of broken.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. Miranda, did you make yourself a thing that we were talking about yesterday, or did you do the boring version of that and make yourself not that?
I made it, or I tried to. I don't know how well I did. So I recently came into a bottle of Aperol and more than one bottle of Prosecco. So I've made myself
love this for you.
An Aperol Spritz. It is my first time trying to do that, so I don't know.
Oh.
And I've also never had one before tonight, so I have no idea how well I did it. Oh. But the bottle of Aperol has a thing where it tells you the color it should be with a picture. And then it's got like one that's too light and it says no. And it's got one that's too pink and it goes no.
Yeah?
Bless it. I don't think I've actually ever noticed that.
That's the beauty of branded drinks, man.
But then they didn't have like the club soda situation I wanted across the street. So I bought a sparkling water that isn't very carbonated. I don't know. You know what? It's not very spritzy, but it
is the right color.
It is. Just put some more ice in it.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's like it's diluted a bit from the ice since I made it.
I don't know. It looks like the right color to me.
Look at the size of that thing.
We're always, every time summer rolls around, we're just like, I would like a spritz because we honeymooned partially in Venice, and now we are spoiled for life. So, you know.
I was going to say how very topical of you, Burb, with the Venice Film Festival going on.
Wow.
Oh, I was going to say, like, I don't know. My girlfriend's Italian. That's all I know. I said something. She's like, I love Aperol Spritzes. And I was like, you fucking Italians.
That's lovely.
They're so good.
They are very good summer drinks.
Oh, it is lovely.
Delicious. Okay, good. I was going to say, do you like it? Are you dying?
I would say
I got it for free.
There you go. I would say one of my like top 3 Instagram photos. You know, since I Instagram so much, I haven't actually Instagrammed since like the beginning of the pandemic. But I think one of my top 3. It literally looks
like you. I just want to point out that it literally looks on Chris's Instagram like he fucking died of COVID, because the last post he has is that like something about like I'm sick, and then he never posts ever again. And it's like in the middle of 2020, and he's just like, It looks like you died, man. Like,
Is he dead
It's
or is it
really
just
now-
depression?
It's literally
It's
April
now a good
16th, 2020. It literally does look like you died, though. Now that
It's now a
Kate
good
has said
time
it.
to tell the podcast family at large that
God.
we've actually stolen that hologram technology and have been faking Chris and everything for the last 2
Oh, yeah.
years.
Chris
Somehow
exactly.
Chris has
this whole
returned.
time.
oh my god.
Still a sassy bitch.
What I was saying was one of my top 3 Instagram photos. I think is a picture of an Aperol spritz in, not technically in Venice, on Murano, which is a neighboring island. But it's a very good picture.
I don't actually know if
Wow,
Milano's
you're a
technically part of-
fucking asshole.
It's like, well, it's not technically an Aperol spritz because it's not an Aperol.
Well, it was Aperol though, so we're good on that front.
Chris,
Don't
just tell
worry.
us what you're drinking and then don't talk anymore.
I'm drinking tea because I'm old and have heartburn.
He sure does. He just popped so many Tums before this, y'all. Like he's 84
I also
years
have like
old.
the very end of a Wild Basin cucumber peach seltzer.
It's true.
I guess
It's the
this
only
is
shit from
growing
Oscar
up.
Blues. Oh my god. Oscar Blues that we will drink because it is the only thing they produce that is not packed with hops.
This is true. I'm not a fan of Oscar Blues beer. Is a controversial opinion here in Colorado. but
It's true. I'm also drinking just some green tea because I've had a 2-day either migraine or severe headache. Who the fuck knows? All the lights looked 72 times brighter earlier. So yeah, I'm not drinking. I did have other substances, which I'm not into my full month of employment yet, so I will not further describe what substances they were because they made me pee in a cup. But you know. Anyway, our charity for this episode. In all seriousness, we obviously have been keeping an eye on the news out of Jackson, Mississippi, which is fucking horrific. And honestly, I wish I could say that I'm surprised it's happening, but here we are because it is the year of Satan 2022 and America is still this. Anywho, the Community Foundation for Mississippi has a disaster relief fund called the Helping Friends and Neighbors Fund. If you go to their website, which is just formississippi.org, like FOR, and then spell Mississippi, if you go to the top banner, it has like a click here to help out with the water crisis, and it'll take you to the page with some information about donating to them, as well as some other organizations if you are interested in doing that also. But yeah, please do donate. Everything is as usual, fucking terrible, and even worse for those of us who least deserve it. So, yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Neat. Shall we talk about Star Wars?
Maybe.
plants.
Okay.
Also-
We'll get to the plants. Chill the fuck out.
Space plants.
What do you say? Yes, we'll talk about the space
Space
plants in a
plants.
moment. I just want to say, this is probably the lowest body count for a Claudia Gray book that I have ever read in my entire fucking life. Like, Jorah dies
Yeah.
off screen.
And that wasn't even Claudia.
Right. Like, that, I mean, who
That
knows?
was Charles.
I mean, you don't know. Maybe it was her idea. But
I mean, that's fair.
in the behind the scenes writers room. But anyway, Jorah dies off screen and then and no one else dies. Even Des came back. Like, I swear to God, he got like fooshed out of the fucking airlock, whatever the goddamn fucking hell. And I was just like, all right, bye. He's gone. He's never coming back. I was like, that was sudden. And then I was like,
Oh,
part
see,
of it,
that's
like, see, a little bit in the back of my brain was like, maybe he's still alive. But I was like, no, it's Claudia. She wants me to suffer. So, I don't know.
I super was like, yeah, I don't think this guy's dead. That happened way too fast. Seems sus to me.
Fair enough. You have greater faith than I do in not just wantonly
Your lack of
killing
faith
off
is disturbing.
characters.
Your lack of faith is disturbing.
So it is. I said I just finished like my first pass of like major revisions on my fucking novel, and I was just like, who else can I murder here? I didn't actually want to murder anybody else, but like,
Yes, the Claudia Gray method. It's fun.
But like truly, I was like, I finished the book and I was just like, this is. I mean, Affie having to like give up her foster mom because she's being a hoe is, you know, a tragedy in its own way. But this is like the least like emotionally compromised I've ever been after reading at least a Star Wars book of hers that I've read so far. So I don't know how to feel in terms of like, I like the book, and also I'm just like, she's obviously written more stuff in the High Republic, so how's she going to make up for it later by gutting us like a fish?
I'm going to regret
I
this.
think with her like doing the High Republic and doing multiple parts of it, she can build up our love more than usual
Oh God, you're so right.
to make the death even worse.
See, now I'm upset because you're absolutely fucking correct about that. Like, that's just
I'm very sorry.
great.
It's not my fault.
She did kill Reath's feelings, though. Reath's feelings were a casualty of this book.
He's not supposed to have feelings.
Yeah, he sucks at that.
Oh, he's so small. Oh, you know who she did kill? She killed that like one monarch from whatchamacall, which did make me sad, like in the flashback scenes. Which did make me sad. But
when he
just like,
got shot.
yeah, like that was like I feel like that was bittersweet, but not necessarily as like gut wrenching as I usually find these things. But anyway, Chris, you were saying
I was just happy it
About the
wasn't
plants or about
lesbian.
Reath?
about Reath.
Oh, I mean,
lesbian is alive. Yes.
the lesbian returns in future stories. My friends,
Oh,
Return
hell
of the Lesbian.
yeah. George Lucas's greatest work.
Fuck yeah.
ROTL.
I just got distracted by a lot of different jokes I could have made.
Oh my God.
No, I mean, Reath is just honestly, Reath is like very funny. And this is very much jumping ahead in the outline because I made an offhand comment and then Kate asked me to explain it. But
Don't blame this on me.
but
Fuck you.
I love the character of Reath because I find him as a soft nerd who also got crushes on anybody who was nice to me.
Oh my God. Don't talk about our marriage thus.
It's like about
Don't tell people that Kate was
Excuse me.
nice to you at
I'm
one
sorry.
point.
I'm sorry. When have you been nice to me?
Eat shit.
He's a very relatable Jedi Padawan. He's much more down to earth and like also like the most reluctant Jedi you'll ever meet.
Also, he's just bad at stuff.
He's not though. That's the thing.
Like, okay, but he has to actually like try, and everyone else is like, look at all the cool force flips and shit I can do.
He's not street smart,
No.
but he can do tons of shit.
No, absolutely, because he read it in a book one time.
Yeah,
He's very book smart.
he's very book smart, and he can do some like he can do a lot. Like when he uses a lightsaber, he's very good at it. It's just that he doesn't like to, and like just the moment of, I have a crush on a Nile. It's just like very, very funny. And then like just feeling supremely guilty for it as if that could have like changed anything that happened on the station.
He's such a sweet dumb baby. I like how Affy just like nails. She sees them talking one time and she's like, "Oh dear God, this is like just nausea-inducing. I'm gonna go do drugs with Leox and never look at them ever again." And I was just like, "Yes, I agree." Or rather, I would have been that person in that situation, absolutely. Oh gosh, yeah. We'll talk more about Reath in a minute, but y'all wanted to talk about these fucking plants, so have at it.
Zombie ferns. Zombie ferns.
They're
Who
evil.
says they're ferns?
I said they're ferns.
They're viney, though.
I think
just
they
did.
were trees.
You fucking...
They're jungle
They're
ferns.
viney trees. There's literally fucking concept art of them. They look like bushes.
Ferns.
Jesus fuck.
What are they
I don't
called? I
think
want to
they're
look up the
ferns.
art.
They're called the Drengir.
Oh, like a Drengir? Like on Assassin's Creed
That's
and
not-
Valhalla?
I was about to say, there's a version of them also in God of War.
This too. I think they're Draugr
It's
in
like-
God of
Yeah,
War.
I know, but still. Anyway, no, like clearly she's pulling from a large tradition of zombie
Yeah.
creatures, and also I think that there's something there about like dendrites, so roots and stuff. Anyway,
Is that a kind of vine?
Oh my God! Why
Dendrites
is
are just root
Wikipedia like
thingies?
this?
Do they have an entire fucking article about?
Of
the
course they
Drengir?
have. Obviously, they have an article about it, very long, and the quote on it is "meat, meat, meat." A Drengir hungry
Yes.
for Jedi.
oh my god.
Yes, that is really all you need
That's
to know.
very funny.
The Drengir did it for the vine.
There's a subsection called
Stop
Society and Culture.
Society.
This is such a long article.
Welcome to Wikipedia. All of it is
Well,
like
they-
this.
They have to have some kind of documentation on like their practices of whatever the fuck they were doing when What's-His-Face got there and Des was already there, and they were like, we can make them fight.
Meat, fight, meat, fight.
The first rule of Drengir Fight Club is meat.
That's, I mean,
The only rule of Drengir Fight Club.
that's absolutely fucking true.
No, but I mean, to actually talk about the Drengir, I really like them. I find, like, they very much play into, like, the ridiculousness of Star Wars creatures and villains, like, kind of tied into one. I love the fact that they're, like, sentient and they're not just, like, monster ferns. Like, they're
steal this
specifically
from-
sentient zombie ferns.
Did they steal? Aren't there like evil trees in Lord of the Rings? Is that a thing?
No.
No,
Oh.
they're
There's
never mind.
good. There's nice
Carry
trees
on.
in Lord of the
Yes.
Rings.
they're good trees.
Sorry, I just assumed they were bad.
Their wives are
Because
lesbians.
they were alive. Oh,
I mean,
cool.
feel like
Never
borrowing.
mind.
There's a folklore tradition though of just like, and also spiritual tradition in many cultures of just like trees being alive or spiritual or whatever.
Well,
so
they are
you know.
alive.
Oh, for sure. It's. I
Well,
mean,
it
it's
works.
the haunted forest trope. Except
This
even more
forest is
haunted
extra fucking
and with
haunted.
more teeth.
With more
Um,
space.
Oh my goodness gracious. See, Chris, you're like, you see, you're over here just being like, Drengir are kind of funny, and I'm just like, no, they're fucking terrifying. Maybe it's because I grew up in New York, and I'm just like, what the fuck is a tree? But I was just like, if the tree's coming at me,
Listen, man.
I'm pooping my pants. Like, it's gonna happen.
Honestly, two of your greatest fears are trees and zombies, so it
Yes.
is very on brand that you're scared of the
Yes.
Drengir.
That is completely accurate. Honest to God. It's trees, zombies, and things that are larger than they're supposed to be.
Ah, this is true.
Yeah.
Throwback to the elephant garlic incident of 2019.
Yep. I swear we've told the story on the pod, but for those of you who haven't heard the story before, one time I saw elephant garlic at the grocery store, and I was just like, that is not the size it should be. And it gave me
Full-on
this
meltdown.
like gross, uncanny feeling. You know when you look at like mushrooms or like rotting flesh or whatever, and you get that like feeling of just absolute disgust suffusing your body? That was me with the elephant garlic. So that's a fun fact about me. Anyway, somebody was about to
That's
say something.
that's very stoop. Kid's afraid to leave his stoop of you.
Fuck you.
I was gonna say before
Wow.
the elephant garlic detour that I grew up almost in the woods, and I'm still afraid of the woods. They're very scary, and these are especially
enough.
evil, like on purpose,
That's fair enough.
and not.
Honestly,
Not
woods
just
at
'cause
night are
it's
just
dark.
very scary. There's
Fucking
there's a
terrifying.
reason that they continue to be the setting of horror movies around, the world.
I had another point. What was it? Oh, I do love that, like, they're the least likely thing to just an uninformed outsider on this whole fucking space station that's gonna be evil as hell. Like, they're like, oh, look, these large, scary-looking statues. We're having weird visions around them, and they're all clearly of dead people. So if we take this away, we can fix it. And it's like, oh god, oh no, we fucked up the whole thing. Now it's only space scary woods.
I thought that was a lovely twist that she built in there with the freaky statues. No, it's the plants, y'all.
These fucking plants, they're supposed to be our friends.
I know. But you know what? Just Mother Nature
We
says,
fucked up the whole
"Fuck you."
thing.
Uh-huh.
Trademark the Jedi.
I mean, it's also like it's a really good commentary on, and this kind of gets into my question about how the Drengir and the Nile kind of coexist within the narrative, but it's almost related to the Republic and the Jedi's attitude toward the Outer Rim and just like the general colonization of these areas that like some people are happy about, but some places are really not happy about, and like the Nile, like not that the Nile are a political entity that we should all care about what they think, but like they're coming into a place where nothing is wrong, where there is no indication that any harm is being caused to anybody, and then they're like, I don't like this, and they're just taking shit and making things worse.
These
And
Jedi
so
are
like I found
colonizers.
that really interesting as a like, kind of knowing that this is kind of like the high point of the Jedi. Like this is a great example of like the Jedi hubris that we as children of the prequels have all come to know and love, and
I-
how the fact that they just like can't see themselves as doing anything wrong until they accidentally let zombie ferns loose on the galaxy.
Stop calling them ferns.
I really like too that like the kind of accidental enemy and the not exactly like purposeful enemy, because the Nile, like, they have a purpose. That weird dude with maybe eyes, like he's got a plan, but this is just
He
like
does
a
anyway.
regular. Yeah,
but
but like
not necessarily the other people. But yeah, go on.
no, they're all just like, let's go fuck shit up. But like
Let's go, Maraud,
the
yeah.
one that the Jedi are more in danger from in this book is just the completely natural one, that if they had just gone to the space station and left untouched, like, everything would have been fine. And
It's almost like you
instead,
should repo people's cultural artifacts.
just, it's food for thought. But instead, Des got fucking yeeted to the not fern world, and then Reath got yeeted there too, and then they had to fucking fight for their goddamn lives because somebody was like, let's change everything on this space station. I don't like the way it looks or feels.
Well, we'll talk about Cohmac a little later, but shake my damn head, okay? Like, that's all. That's all I gotta say. It was somebody's idea.
It's like, I get the reasoning behind it, but it was very like, oh, this is what we thought.
Well, yeah, let's,
It's gotta
and
be
also
right.
let's not fully analyze the situation.
Let's not
We just got
question
here.
it.
Let's take these fucking statues.
Let's not discuss alternatives. We've
And
already
I-
had
I-
an issue where like we be attacked if we touch the vines, but that just from the little droid guys.
Yeah, and honestly, like, everything they experienced on the Amexine station just demonstrated kind of a stunning lack of imagination for people who are supposed to be in tune with the galaxy. And like Cohmac, he is introduced to us as this very learned scholar who knows all about myths and different cultures and how the Force is interpreted around the galaxy. And he just comes in and he's like, yeah, nothing's been wrong in here for 1,000 years, but let's change shit. Like, why not? What's the worst that could happen?
The thing that gets me is like he comes in, mental guns a-blazing like that, when in one of the flashbacks, like, they clearly fucking ignored, like, the mythology that was painted on the walls for them to see danger. And he's still like, no, I think we're good. There are signs of danger. We'll just do shit. See what happens.
He's very, and this kind of leads into the next question that we have on the outline, which is, do we think he's going to be the best master for Reath? But he's very...
You are just jumping all over the fucking place,
I know.
sir. I'm
Well-
gonna fucking...
What's our next
Okay,
point
Welcome to the
now?
pod. Welcome back to the pod. You've been gone a while.
Yeah, unless I recall, I kept things in line on the fucking pod, so you can just eat my entire ass.
What was I going to say?
No one cares.
Oh,
Is
Cohmac
Cohmac
is...
the best master for Reath?
Well, he's very ethereal almost. Like, he's not really concerned with the world in front of him. And it's like, it's like kind of the anti-Yoda from original trilogy and Last Jedi lesson. Like, he is not focused on what is in front of him. He is thinking about the past. He's thinking about the future. He's thinking about what could be. He seems distracted at all times, but he's like the opposite of living in the moment. And I worry about that for Reath, because Reath also wants to live in other moments besides the one that is happening.
And also, just like on a practical level, like we're just talking about, fucking Reath being book smart and not necessarily street smart. But what is Cohmac if not that? Like the reason why Master Jorah was trying to like kick Reath all the way off of Coruscant was so that he could actually like go outside and touch some fucking grass. Like Cohmac's
Yeah.
not necessarily gonna do that for him.
Cohmac is the master that Reath wants. He's not the one that
Yes.
Reath needs to be a good Jedi.
Absolutely.
Because he's not going to push Reath. Like, I think he's a very good Jedi for Reath to learn from eventually. Maybe when he becomes a master, like they go do some nerd shit together. But, like, he needs somebody who's, because of how much he just kind of wants to stay in his one place and do his own thing, which is books. Like, he very much needs a master who will make him do literally anything else.
Right.
Like, that's the only way he's going to learn. And I am not speaking from experience because I do not see myself in this Jedi. So that's fun.
Dude, I think I started reading this book before you did, and I was just like, Burby, have you started? Is it you? Fuck, what was I gonna say? The other thing about Cohmac is that I worry about his, like, I don't even know what to call it, like, personal integrity or whatever the fuck. Because, like, even though, like, we have Orla who, like, has her issues with the Jedi Order and how they do things and what the rules are and whatever the fuck. But she finds a way within that system to figure out what it's going to mean for her, for, like, you know, for her life going forward. She decides to become a way seeker. She's gonna fuck off. She's gonna figure out her shit. Comac's over here being like, why can't I be, like, just, like, vengefully rageful? That seems like a healthy feeling. I don't understand. And he never deals with it. And I'm just like, bro, like, you can't.
Cohmac needs space therapy.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Everyone in this book does, but.
Yeah. He doesn't. I mean, big twist for Star Wars. He doesn't seem to have ironclad principles, which on the one hand is not bad because, like, only Sith deal in absolutes, blah, blah, blah. Which, never not going to point out the hilarity of that statement. But, like, it does feel like he is all about blurring the lines, but not capable of drawing them where they need to be drawn. And we don't quite see that in this book, aside from his decision making, which, as we've already discussed, is fairly suspect. But it's
questionable.
Like you were talking about, his, like, kind of repeated talk about, like, I don't understand why we can't dabble with the dark side. It's all the Force. And it's like,
I read that and I was just like, red flag, red flag, red flag. Like, oh, help.
Especially since that's something that is, like, very ingrained in Jedi teachings, why you don't fuck with the dark side. And it's because you can't just fuck with the dark side. Like, it leads you places. It takes hold of you, and then you start making bad choices. And we haven't seen that from Cohmac yet, but it does worry me that he was sick that day, apparently.
No disintegration.
Trees.
Oh
my god.
He missed that
Trees are a
lesson in
gateway
Jedi
drug.
class.
Trees are a gateway drug to the dark side.
So true.
I did really love seeing other, like, sentient, like, dark side users, though. Like, they were talking about, you know, like, we know about locations and plants and things, but, like, you know, I thought they were just about as interesting as the Night Sisters on Dathomir in terms of just, like, introducing us to a culture that's just like, no, we're, like, 100% the dark side. Why is the dog poking the trash?
Because he wants attention.
That's what they said.
But yeah, no, I like the scary trees. But yeah, I don't know. Chris Cohmac pops up a couple more times, doesn't he? So we'll see where he leads our poor sweet nerd baby.
He does. Reath is in the main one of the main characters in two more books, Out of the Shadows, which is the next wave, and then it's the YA in the next wave, and then Midnight Horizon, which is the YA in the final wave of this first phase of the High Republic. Cohmac is in Midnight Horizon. I don't think / remember that he is in Out of the Shadows. I think that's Reath chillin' on his own with other people.
Somehow I doubt he's chilling, being himself, but
oh, he's not chill. He's chill. He's chilling, but he's not chill.
Sweet angel.
That sweet baby has never chilled in his fucking Jedi life.
Nope.
But Kate, to your point about other dark side entities, I also got big Night Sister vibes from the Drengir, and, like, this kind of goes back to what we've talked about with certain stories in the past about how, like, horror vibes work really well in Star Wars, and you kind of rarely get horror vibes from Star Wars, like, because it's like, it's not a horror story, it's a political story, like, as originally told, and, like, so the enemies aren't unexpected, they're expected and evil. But like when you have this wild card element of the Drengir who you have never seen and don't understand their motivations because you feel like it has to be more complicated than just meat, but then it's not. And
It's meat
and then the Night
cheese.
Sisters who are their own. Oh my god. The Drengir just want a good charcuterie board, okay?
Me.
And then the Night Sisters who like also have these horror elements, and we don't know what it is they want, and just generally what their motivations and goals are. It works, and honestly, there was a little more casting rumor for the Acolyte today, but that's really just all I want from the Acolyte when that comes out next year.
You mentioned, like, I've already forgotten the words you used. I'm very sorry. About the trees and if they have a purpose? No.
Motivations,
Night
goals,
Sisters. Motivations and goals,
dreams.
yeah. I really like the idea of them not having goals and motivations. Like, I know that we kind of got an anthropomorphic thing, so that's not necessarily the case. But I love, like, if we're using the High Republic to explore weird Force shit, they're just the dark side. They just have dark Force energy. Like, I don't know, so if the Jedi want to scream about balance in the fucking Force, like, where's the goddamn dark side? On the space station in the trees. That made more sense in my head.
No, I think it does make sense, and I think that it coexists, I think, really well with the Nile, because we talked about this when we read Light of the Jedi about the reason the Nile are so difficult for the Jedi to handle is that they don't really have goals. They can't be reasoned with. They can't be negotiated with. Their only goal is chaos. Mm-hmm. And, we know that Markian Row has goals, but we don't know what they are. But the Nile at large, as a group, don't seem to have goals.
I just want to flesh it out.
Exactly. And, like, on the one hand, it's kind of like, why are you introducing another big bad? But on the other hand, it's like, these two big bads only want one thing, and that one thing can work together because you can combine them and get destruction. And so it's a really interesting, I think, pair of challenges that are uniquely suited. And props to, the brainstorming sessions for the High Republic initiative for this, but like they are uniquely suited to hit the Jedi in their weak spots.
Are the trees a big bad? Or are they like a procedural bad?
I'm not positive of the difference.
Do they come back up?
After this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, fuck. All
Okay.
right, never mind.
Okay.
Like, they felt like a one-off to me, so I think that's what Miranda was asking.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So when they removed when they took the spell off the statues,
Oh, no.
Well,
they woke up
let that
Drengir
shit loose.
around the galaxy.
Oh, fuck. That's not
Oh.
good. That
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
we gonna talk about that next week when we talk comics.
Oh, boy. Well,
Okay.
evil trees galore. Good.
That's a lot of evil trees.
I know. Goodness. This is a little bit of a sidebar, but just talking about like dark side based societies and the Night Sisters. I don't have high hopes for Fallen Order ever doing justice to the amazing character that Merrin could be, because I don't trust men. But I think I'm fascinated always by the fact that like she is cast as like a Night Sister, but she can hang. Like she's an okay Night Sister. Like she's not, and I'm just like but also not really. She's not like, she's still, I don't know. Like her culture has these like tendencies of just like, manipulation and control that are like held in like these are vices that are held as values, right? And so I don't know. Which is all to say, I want to go deeper into dark side societies. I hope the Acolyte will do that. I hope what the Acolyte is like early Dathomir, like Night Sister Society. That's like my big hope for the show, but I don't know if it'll ever happen until more women be right in the Star War. But here we are. Speaking of sidebars, can we talk about Dez and what happens to him at the end for a second?
Yes, definitely.
Just because I think it's really interesting. So, Dez goes, he gets Yod out the airlock and goes to Drengir World. They torture the ever-loving shit out of him in truly a horrific manner. No, he's just they pump him full of like horrible drugs and all this other stuff. And he goes home, he gets his physical treatment, and then he tells Reath, he's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go take a fucking meditation retreat for several years. I'll see you eventually. And I don't know how to feel about that. Not in the context of like the world building or the story, but in the context of the world itself. Like we were always joking about like, what if anyone ever got like help for their trauma or whatever? And it's just like he's like, I need to go meditate for 10 years to like heal my connection with the Force because the dark side was like so strong in me after being stuck on Tree World for like 80 million years, which just totally makes sense. But it's just like is that helping like your? It sounds more to me like helping your connection to the Force feels like more like, I don't know, making sure your abilities are good as opposed to like making sure your like psychological state is good. I don't know. How did y'all read that?
So to me it's less a question of Des specifically needing space therapy, and it's very much a question that is recurring within the High Republic that we'll talk more about even as soon as next week, I think.
Through the High Republic, through galactic history.
Well, yeah, but actually dealt with in the High Republic.
Interesting.
Which is, what do you do if you're a powerful individual and you can't be a Jedi, or you can't live up to the tenets of the Jedi? And there's a lot more that we're going to talk about. So Keeks, maybe if you want to kind of like write that question down for the future, because there's at least two in my mind that are very much going to play into that. But Kate, to answer your specific question about Des, for me, it's almost less that he wants to practice his skills and more that he wants to protect people from himself because he doesn't trust himself.
Ew.
Oh.
Like it's a very "you're locked in here with me" thing. And so that's why I think it's so interesting, because what do you do when you're a person with, you know, this immense power and deadly weapons and really, you know, teetering on a knife's edge of being able to cause destruction on really a widespread scale? You know, we've seen throughout Star Wars what one rogue Force user can do. And there's not a ton of options for you, because at least the Jedi that we know, we'll kind of get into what the High Republic Jedi thoughts are on this in the future, but like at least the Jedi that we know in the Skywalker era are kind of like, damn, I ain't reading all that. Good luck though.
Wow. Yeah, that is fascinating. One of the things I really love about the High Republic is that it really is being I made allusion a little bit before to Claudia Gray having been a fan fiction writer and probably is still a fan fiction writer secretly under some pen name on AO3 floating out in the universe somewhere. But I had mentioned that, I think, last episode, just to say, you know, she's aware of some of the questions and the tropes and things that like people in the fandom have had and they have tried to address through their own non-canon stories. And so, you know, getting folks like her and of course the rest of the folks writing for the High Republic, like, they're fans first as well, and the fact that they have space in the High Republic to maybe address things that a little more far afield than what they could do with keeping within the Skywalker saga, I think is so much fun. Like, just to see them, like, because that is a question in the fan community. It's just like, well, if you're a Force user and you don't go this way or that, then like, what happens to you? And what are your abilities? How powerful are you? Can you in any way be any degree of self-taught? These are all questions that people have tried to address by various means. I read a lot of Jason Sindula content, so this is a question with him. well, listen, the Canary Shippers, we debate amongst ourselves whether he went to study at Luke's temple and fucking died, or if he just decided to like not do that. So either way, like, if you're looking at, you know, someone who is Force sensitive and untrained, like, what happens to them? We have few examples, so
There's that kid at the end of The
That's a
Last
good question.
Jedi.
Yeah.
He yoinks
Absolutely.
a little broom to sweep.
sure
I
do.
super read
sure
this as he was gonna
Broom
go.
boy. We call him Broom
spend-
Boy, don't we?
Oh, yeah. He was gonna go spend some time alone for a while, is how I interpreted that. But now that you guys have been talking. Maybe that's fucking naive because this is Star Wars.
I mean, why not both?
Because, like,
I feel like
'cause
that could be
logically-
his intention, but like I don't know what's gonna happen. Probably something horrible is gonna happen.
something terrible is going to happen to him while he's trying to have some goddamn peace and quiet. But no, I mean, I think logically I was just like, oh, he is gonna go, meditate for several years, and he just went through some shit. Like, he needs to step away. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That's what I would fucking do, Jesus.
No, I think there's something to be said for that, but also
It's Star Wars.
he is not a white woman, and therefore his meditation retreat is not necessarily the most restful and relaxing that we are ever going to see. I don't know. He's got some demons to fucking battle in his like brain world or whatever the fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll see more about the Drengir in future things too, future episodes of the show, future things that we read. Like, he was essentially possessed by an entity that is not gone in any way and is force sensitive. So, like, I definitely...
Evil trees.
I see why he, like, kind of got to this solution of, I need to be isolated right now. Like, not even, like, I need to just, like, take a temple job in the library. Like, I need to be, like, gone. So, like, I don't know. It's very interesting to me, and definitely a lot more to talk about as we go.
Go to, like, Octo and take a pork herding or something, you know?
Yeah.
He's gonna milk that weird thing. Squid bullets. Hang out with the caretakers.
Oh, fuck.
Makes the best green cheese in the Outer Rim.
There's the cheese! Cheese and meat.
There it is.
I'm upset. Can we move on?
That's me and Burb's fault. We mentioned dairy. We should have known that was going to upset Kate.
Fuck me.
God damn it.
I'm so fucking intolerant of lactose, guys.
All right, I'll put one question on here. What did y'all think about the presence of Leox and Affy and Geode and how they contributed to the story? And I mean that, I'll expand a little bit what I mean there. Do you think that they were any different or added more or less to the story than kind of our traditional side characters in a Jedi story?
I think because of, like, the nature of when this is taking place, like, in, the Jedi's first forays into the Outer Rim, when they're trying to kind of bring everything to within the Republic, I thought it was interesting, because, just having the folks, and it felt more so, these are words, Jesus Christ, it felt like
it's like
they
Harry Styles
more
describing a movie.
Wow.
Oh my God! It just feels like a movie. Okay. I feel like more so they kind of add in like the outside point of view. We see it with other folks, but like usually they're more aware of the Jedi or like appreciate the Jedi being there more to save them from whatever fucking problems they're having. But they all have their own agenda here, and it's like, oh, well, we're smuggling this spice. I guess we'll drive some Jedi on the way, and watch them completely fuck up the entire Outer Rim in one go. I don't know. I thought their perspective was good.
Like
That's the whole me rambling. Is I liked their perspective, and like also, fucking Geode. What a guy.
what an absolute king. I'm
Just
getting a tattoo of Geode, guys.
But I'm problematic
Hell
king.
yeah.
I've seen pictures of tattoos of Geode
Are you serious?
from Celebration.
Oh my God, can you find them for me?
I'll do what I can.
he
That's
sounds like a
lovely.
Pokemon.
He does, doesn't he?
Who's that Geode?
Jesus fucking Christ. Just to add on.
Oh, I said
my God.
Star
Just
Wars when I googled that.
Good. Y'all, I'm the one who had extracurricular substances. I don't even. Anyway, what I was just to add on to what Burp said. One thing that I appreciate about the characters that I've met so far, just reading these High Republic books, the non-Jedi characters who live on the quote-unquote frontier, is that they're extremely capable people. Like, because, like, you know, they're not relying on the fucking Jedi to pop up. They can't even rely on their own local fucking police enforcement. Can't relate. You know, they can't rely on their local government. They, you know, if they're maybe they can have some recourse for, you know, vague accident insurance if they, you know, if they're part of some sort of like workers guild. But other than that, like, they're on their fucking own. And it really reminds me, honestly, of just like that moment, you know, and here's Obi-Wan Kenobi spoilers, where Beru just like starts fucking pulling guns out of her fucking wall, and Owen's just like, what the hell? She's like, we live in the middle of the desert and we could get eaten at any fucking time. Do you think this house didn't have guns in it? And it's like, and it's one of those things where it's just like, oh yes, you are capable, smart people, and like, you know, maybe the Jedi think that they're expanding their peace and justice and whoop-de-doo, fluey, whatever stuff to the outer reaches of the galaxy. But, like, these people don't fucking need it. They don't give a fuck. And I love that. And I love that.
The Jedi very much roll up like, congratulations, you are being rescued.
Yes!
And there is no clear danger.
Exactly!
Like, they're just out there vibing, like...
Exactly.
Okay.
All right. I'm this is exactly what the answer that I hope to get from y'all, because it's very much how I felt, and I was wondering if I was just reading too much into it. I very much
Chris,
feel
a Gemini, fucking fishing so that he can have his opinions confirmed.
Couldn't be me. But part of the reason I love the crew of the vessel, and this also goes for other characters that we'll meet in the future, but we haven't met a ton of them yet. They're just very demonstrative of the fact that the Jedi mythos does not exist to the extent that it does in the Skywalker era. And like, people in the Skywalker era are very much like the Jedi are heroes, they will come save us. Whereas here, they're like, oh yeah, I've heard of the Jedi. They like pray and shit, right? like people don't
fuck.
Yeah. Like, people don't think very much about the Jedi as an option for rescue, and so they don't rely on them. And I think that is part of what keeps them very grounded and down to earth, and that
the
we
Jedi
see in this
are
era
the America
particularly.
Of the world.
I mean, kind of.
You said
Like,
that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing.
And we talked during Light of the Jedi about how grounded the Jedi on Elfrona felt, that outpost, and how it just, like, it felt smaller and more personal. And that's kind of what happens when you don't have the entire galaxy looking up to you as a hero. And I feel like by the time we get to the Skywalker saga, 200 years in the future, we see the consequences of looking at the Jedi like they are going to solve our problems.
Of having space cops?
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna talk about the exact moment that the Jedi decided to turn into space cops in a few books. Don't you worry.
Oh.
Yay.
And how it's
don't
all
like it, but I'm
Stellan
into it.
Gios's fault.
I thought it was Yoda's fault.
Interestingly, no, at this stage.
At this stage.
Huh.
Listen, Yoda
doesn't help.
I was gonna say Yoda's still gonna be around for another like 200
He's
years.
still the
There
fucking
was
goddamn
700
police commissioner.
I know. There's 700 years before this. No. He's got all the time in the fucking world to do war crimes.
No, Yoda's just full on going goblin mode right now, and it's great. We're gonna see him next week.
Oh God! Like, all right, if we have like fucking stick in the mud piece of shit Yoda in the prequels, and then we have like old, like absolutely dottery, like eccentric Yoda in the OT and the sequel trilogy. Where is High Republic Yoda?
That's only
He is.
That's only
he's
20
full
years.
Empire Strikes Back Yoda. Like, less, mental degeneration.
Nope.
Maybe less emotional degeneration, a little less craziness. But he's good Yoda. He's # good Yoda.
Oh fuck yeah!
What the fuck happened? Like, this Yoda man lived for 900 years, and the last 20, his brain was like, no, thank you. That seems.
Listen, man.
I don't know, man.
Listen,
I
it was a
don't trust
fucked up
it.
swamp. It was a
very
fucked up swamp.
fucked up swamp. He made friends with a force cave, and that force cave
And-
is evil.
And full of like noxious ass fumes. Who the fuck knows? He's a different species. We don't know what affects his mental capacity. Maybe he was just breathing in deadly neurotoxins for 20 fucking years.
I
That
mean,
could happen, yeah.
we'll see more of, and we don't fully know Yoda's development through the High Republic yet, obviously. But I mean, I think a serious answer is that power corrupts, and then he is removed from power, and has nothing to do for 20 years, but think about what he's done, and starts to remember
Good.
what
He's
he
in
what he
space
thought
timeout on
before
Dagobah.
the Jedi, before he was responsible for the galaxy. And I mean, and that's, it's on more than just Yoda. It's on the beings who put Yoda in that position. It's on the government of the Republic for making the Jedi do this and relying on them
It's
to
almost like
be cops.
these systems are bad, and it's
Yeah.
a systemic problem.
But when you are telling yourself that you are all power, and when you're hearing from others that you're all powerful and you're responsible for the well-being of the galaxy, it fucks with you.
Is Dagobah a super fun site? Discuss.
Oh no! Oh no! I was gonna say, this is, if you thought Dez's retreat was gonna be bad, this is Yoda's like fucking meditation retreat. Here, have some slime. Like, fuck's sake. All right, I think we have some quick like overarching like meta shit to talk about in terms of the High Republic. So one of the things that we are going to talk about throughout reading this bit of Star Wars literature is what are the advantages and disadvantages of having this tightly interlocked of a shared narrative. I think for me, we were just like, haha, we have nothing to talk about that'll fill up like both this second episode and a wrap up. And I feel like that's because Light of the Jedi in this book, and to a certain extent a Test of Courage, they all kind of feel like set up. And I don't mean that in a bad or a derogatory way, but like, we're getting like high level introductions to the characters and the world and everything like that. And so these are a lot of issues and things are being and relationships are being introduced that I would love to delve more deeply into, and I hope we do as we continue reading. But yeah, I don't know, like how did y'all feel about like, I guess, the movement of these books, but also just like how deeply they or not they addressed thingies.
I mean, I get like these are very much a setup, kind of the galaxy as it existed 200 years ago. We don't have 9 films within a span of 40 years to kind of set the scene. And so, I mean, I like it, and I think they do a good job of that, of like, especially with like this one specific incident, and like there's all this fallout across the galaxy, and like, oh, there's some big bad, we've been at peace, oh my god. But like, I'm really interested to kind of move forward in the High Republic and see, once we get away from the, what are we even calling it? Is it like an incident? The Great Crash?
The Great Disaster.
Oh, sure. That has a real name. Okay. I was like, can you just make up one for it?
Burby knows how to read.
Listen, I haven't read this book in weeks. It's fine. But, with this still being set up, it's all kind of very tied into, like, one thing, right? Like, they're only stuck at this station because they can't go into hyperspace, because this great disaster happened. And, you can still tell a lot of stories with that, but in terms of the High Republic as a whole, and like this whole like joint storytelling adventure, I feel like this, where we are right now, is more limited than what I want, or like what I want to see, because we're still very much like, we need to set the scene. We're still tied to this point in time. There's only so much outside of that we can do. And so that's probably the disadvantage. And of course the advantage is you can still do whatever the fuck you want with it. Like,
right.
You have a couple things tying it to the rest of the story, and it's like, oh, we're stranded here. Let's find these fucking space plants that are goddamn evil. Like, Those are not the vibes of the first book, you know?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it's a bit of both with the shared narrative, especially right now. And I'm sure, I don't know how like all the phases are set up, but I imagine that there's still kind of these events throughout, or themes, or whatever the fuck they do with it, that's gonna keep everything tied together. But I want to see more. I love world building. That's all I ever want. I don't give a shit about anything else. Like,
Good. Listen, good for you. I still can't read Lord of the Rings because it's literally all world building.
I can't fucking read that. It's fucking boring. Sorry.
Okay, fair enough.
Nerds.
I'm sorry, I cast aspersions on your character.
That's why you just watch the movies
Word.
and the TV show now.
Extended edition gets you more.
Oh Lord. Yeah, Burby, I totally agree with you. I definitely want to like dive deeper into things. I think one of my like not concerns, but one of my wonderings is just like how deep can we get in phase 1 over the course of like, however so much time that they've allotted for that and however so many projects, because and Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but phase 2 actually goes back in time again from
Correct.
from the High Republic. We go further 200 years back in time, right? Or something like that? Or 100 or whatever the fuck.
There some triple digit number. Yes, you're exactly right.
Yeah, we're going back and we're going more back in
Fuck
time
yeah.
The
apparently.
look on Miranda's face right now.
You know, it's all I ever wanted.
Fucking time travel Christmas.
Oh my god, I love you so much. But yeah, just because like we're clearly, if we're gonna be going, however, many dozens of years further back in the past, we are going to leave probably most of these characters behind, except for like, I don't know, motherfucking Yoda.
Fucking Yoda.
I don't know how long Geode lives. Maybe he just is kicking around somewhere. I
Fucking
don't fucking know what
forever.
will happen.
He's hanging out at Maz's cantina, waiting for it to blow up. Like,
Oh my god, him just like with a spread of empty cups in front of him, and everyone's like, how is this rock even drinking? But yeah, like I'm excited to like, for the fact that this is becoming like just ever expansive. And also I'm just like, are we going to spend what I personally, because that's all that matters. I personally feel is enough time with like, these characters that we've been introduced to, so that I can feel like when Claudia eventually murders them, I'm going to be just as sad as when like Leia died. So, these are my feelings.
specifically with the characters too. I mean, I know there was like a hive mind situation where they fleshed all of this out, but I wonder, not having read past this, like what it does for just how deep we can get into the characters in terms of development.
Yes.
Like Claudia Gray famously writes Leia so well, and like, is there space for folks to really flesh out some of these characters past what we might just see in one book, right? And like, I know like they're featured across several, maybe, apparently, but there's kind of a point. It did kind of fall out of my head. But like,
I think you're echoing a lot of what I'm saying. Just like, are we gonna really get to know these people? Beyond like, and also see them, not just like where they are right now, like getting it deeper into where they are right now, but like how, like, hopefully there will be a character development over the course of
yeah,
the
and
series.
I think
of books.
I just think about how Claudia Gray writes Leia, and like how much into her mind that she is. And like, she's just so deep in there, and like, she really has a good feel of, how Leia thinks. And if we're doing, like, even with meeting, I think that's a limitation potentially of this kind of format, is that, I mean, I'm sure the character development's going to be fantastic. I love the High Republic. This is not a secret. I'm just interested to see how that goes. With a lot of different hands in the pot.
Yeah, and like, I mean, the special thing about like, Leia or any of the other characters who are in more than one form of media is that like, we also know them from other places, and even where, you know, maybe if somebody who had never seen Star Wars in their fucking lives read Bloodline, like, they would be like, I don't get this character at all. Whereas, like, you know, we can kind of just, because of what we know about the character, just, like, automatically, like, smooth over any of those cracks, just, like, unconsciously in our brains. You know, we don't have that for these characters, by and large. I mean, they show up in the comics and whatever the fuck, but, like, you know, still, the comics are...
Yeah, and
only do so much.
That's a great point, and it really kind of speaks to, I think, one of the challenges for Star Wars moving into the future, and I think one of the reasons that what they're doing with the High Republic is so interesting is because, like, they are never going to have characters as iconic as the original trilogy, as the original trio, rather. It's just, it was a very specific moment in pop culture history. They're never, like, they could re-release the same original trilogy movies today and they would be divisive. Like, it's just, that's the pop culture that we live in right now, because we live in pop culture that loves to find cracks and, you know, build separate fandoms within a larger franchise. And that's fine. That's not a problem, but
Unless you're racist.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's always a problem.
It's racist.
But one of the issues that Star Wars is dealing with right now is that they are never going to have those characters. Din Djarin is probably as close as we're going to come for the foreseeable future.
Listen, Baby Yoda is a force
Yoda.
in and of himself.
Yes.
But yeah, fair enough.
No, yeah.
I know what you're saying.
That duo is probably as close as we're going to come. And as much as Baby Yoda has dominated the cultural zeitgeist over the past 2 years, it's nothing compared to the original trio. Which, like, I know I'm not implying that you were saying otherwise, but, like, I'm just saying. So, and that I think is really interesting about the High Republic, of how do you get buy-in? How do you build something as big as the galaxy that George Lucas built and get buy-in and get people to care about all this? And so, and I think it is really interesting. And I do think, you know, certainly after this first wave of books that we've read, the jury is still out of what else are we going to see these folks in. And I think this is a question that we're going to need to return to at the end of Wave 1, and certainly at the end of the High Republic as a whole, as to whether or not they were able to succeed, if anybody could succeed.
Cool.
I have a lot of thinking out loud just about what you just said, but, like, you know, it's the media landscape is very different. Like, there, you know, when Star Wars came out 45 years ago, there were 3 TV channels.
You're right.
The internet wasn't a thing. Like, I mean, it was, but only for top secret army shit. Probably.
It was still tubes, yeah.
Just tubes. And, you know, one thing we can't overlook
Chris!
as well is that it's
Sorry,
been
he just
45. What did
belched.
he do? Oh,
Sorry, I belched apparently off mic enough that nobody but Kate heard.
well,
I
I was,
want
I
everyone
was
to know that
talking,
Chris
so
I heard it.
I was paying attention to my own voice.
I apologize. I apologize for us interrupting you, Burb. Please continue.
Who's
Fuck you, Chris.
Atta girl.
I was just going to continue on and let Kristen remove it in post, but okay.
Now we're keeping it. Go on.
with that, and, like, with taking into account the landscape of what pop culture looked like back then, we've also had 45 years to fucking sit with them and to watch Han and Leia and Luke over and over and over again. Like, I mean, people fucking love Obi-Wan Kenobi. I mean, he was kind of in A New Hope, but we've had him for over 20 years as kind of the character that we know and love. Like, I don't know. It's just a building on your point. It's not really adding to it. I'm just making observations.
No, absolutely.
They're good observations, Burb.
They're great observations. And I
Thanks,
think it's
ma'am.
also worth noting that, like, even as long as the original trio has been around, original 4 if you count Lando, we have Claudia Gray, who has fully embodied Leia and everything she's about. And there have been other authors who have done an excellent job with Leia as well. Rebecca Roanhorse did a great job with Leia. Ryan Johnson did a great job with Leia in The Last Jedi. Ryan Johnson and Carrie Fisher, it should always be noted. But I mean, even after 45 years, who can write Luke? No one. No one knows how to write Luke.
Useless
Except,
twink.
again, I would argue Ryan Johnson. But, like,
Useless twink.
Can Luke and write Luke?
Ken Luke can write Luke. This is correct. But, I mean, I just read Shadow of the Sith, and, you know, this is a whole different podcast, but neither Luke nor Lando was in that book about Luke and Lando, in my opinion.
You know who actually did a great Luke that made no fucking sense? Battlefront.
Yeah, honestly, Battlefront 2, for those who haven't seen that level of it, it's like 5 minutes worth of cutscenes, and it's honestly some of the best Luke content that we've ever seen.
Yes, it's great.
Oh, nice.
Jumping around like by the river.
Yes, but he said I don't know. He says some cool shit that also I don't know. It feels right. It feels good.
Yeah, highly recommend.
Yes.
But yeah, so I mean, yes to everything you said, Burb, and also like there's such a unique cultural touchstone that like even now they're still hard to nail down, and so I think that's another challenge of how do you build out iconic characters, but also do it in a way that people can actually write them when a lot of times it's really hard for more than one person to write a character.
Dude, so you're
And
trying to get us
I
to fucking
will-
wrap the fuck up. What is this?
Yes, that's how I interpret it.
Okay.
Just one last thing on that though. It's like I do like the
He
flexibility
just like
that
shut
we
the
have.
fuck up. I want to go to sleep.
Wait, hang on, Kate. Burb's talking.
I know.
Going 200 years in the past, like we don't have to worry about how these characters are portrayed. And I think like even with, the limitations of having too many cooks, like it's a blank slate for them. And I think we've seen some really good character development so far, and some really interesting characters. And I love Silas Reath with my whole heart. The end.
Reath Silas.
Reath Silas, whatever his fucking name is. I love him a lot. Clearly,
With
okay.
whatever his fucking name is, with your whole heart.
I was pronouncing it like Yoda. That's not a sentence.
No.
He does that. He does that with sentences. He doesn't do that with proper nouns. I don't know, man.
Let's just go.
Yeah.
Kate, are
I
you
don't know
bringing
what
us
I'm
out or am
saying.
I?
What?
Are you bringing us out or am I?
No, you are.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening to this wide-ranging episode of the Book Wars Pod. As a reminder to everybody, you can get another COVID booster now. So just go fucking do that. And get a flu shot while you're at it. Continue to stay safe and act like we're in the pandemic that we are. Our next episode, we actually got through all of our wrap topics on this episode, so we're going to be jumping right to the first episode on the High Republic comics. We're going to be reading, and encourage you to read along with us, Volume 1 of the High Republic Adventures, published by IDW and written by Dana Jose Older. We are going to be discussing the first Marvel volume of the High Republic comics by Kevin Scott. We don't recommend you read those. We actually recommend that you don't, because Marvel's bad, but the plot is critical to the development of the High Republic, so we'll discuss that. If you have the means, please consider donating to the Helping Friends and Neighbors Disaster Relief Fund, which is run by Community Foundation for Mississippi at formississippi.org. And after that, if you want to support us, you can donate to the Tasha Station Radio Patreon, or give us coffee at ko-fi.com/bookwarspod. And we will continue to bring the Argos, Serbi, Jasper, Orca, and Tony content coming. There's some really fantastic Orca content, if I do say so myself, on the Insta this week, thanks to Burb.
Miranda posted a reel, y'all.
We're so proud of her.
Baby's first time.
Our theme song is Whiz Bang by Puddington Bear. Our logo and artwork is by Joe Butera Design. And our audio and production are done, as always, by Kristen McDonald. For Miranda, Kate, Kristen, and Rana, I'm Chris. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.